That should do it. I always have to ask myself, has there been a Windows update since the last time I streamed? If the answer is yes, nothing's going to work. Anyway, sup, Karis? How are you? As you can no doubt see, this is the first time I have streamed this. It's the first time I've even opened it, actually, so. And we don't have any game audio. I find that concerning. Let me first make sure that... Let's try it again, because we should have been hearing the theme music already. Ooh, brutal. It's been... We had a few days of real winter, almost a week's worth last week. It was actually cold. It snowed some. Now it's, it's supposed to be the middle of winter and it's 60 degrees and sunny out. And the parts of the world where it's summer are in a furnace because we have, and by we I mean the power centers of the world, at least where I live, the West, have essentially reacted to the climate crisis and the need to curb fossil fuel consumption. Kind of, the analogy I draw is we reacted kind of like a drunk who robs a liquor store after his family tells him, or after his family stages an intervention. And now the game won't launch. That's special. This always happens whenever I try to start something new. It's ridiculous. I really should start doing all of the preliminaries before I launch the stream, but when I do stream these days, it's always kind of impulsive. It's never really planned in advance, so is what it is, I suppose. Anyway, I'm sorry you're in a furnace. I hate hot weather. I hate hot weather. So I can imagine the misery index. Well, my headset is working now. And the controller and my headset are working, but I don't have any game audio. Isn't that great? We really should be hearing the music now, so I'm not sure what the problem is. The volume is on here. And my speakers, the weird thing is, you are hearing the game, so it's just me that's not hearing it. Alright, well, that's helpful, actually. Give me a second. I'll try rebooting my headset, see if that does anything. That did it. Okay, so we're just gonna jump in. And as ever, I can really clearly see the difference between my game visual and what shows up on Streamlabs, because I'm gonna leave the brightness at the default. As I look at what you guys are seeing through the stream, it's quite a bit brighter than what I'm seeing in the game, but I think that's actually close to the experience I'm supposed to have, so let's go ahead and go. Normal. Yeah, that's all fine. Okay. So, as is often the case in FromSoft games, I've played Elden Ring, by the way. I've not quite platinumed it yet, but I'm pretty close on my PlayStation. As you know me, I don't really like to do blind playthroughs of anything on the channel. So I can say with confidence, like most FromSoft games, your starting class, in the end, it's not going to matter at all what it was because you can tweak the stats, you can find all the gear. So it's really just a question of what you want to have at the beginning to make the game easier. And with that in mind, we are going to... so you can see kind of you can get a preview of the starting stats and gear. We're going to go with a samurai because the katana and longbow are both really, really useful to have early on. And the armor and the stat spread are pretty good too. I think Type A and Type B is your gender choice. Doesn't really matter. Oh no, it's buff or slender. I'll go slender. I'll be mature, but not old. And so the keepsake, this is an interesting choice. I'm going to take the Lands Between rune, because pretty much everything else, and runes too, we find all of this stuff throughout the game anyway. The ones people are often tempted to take, why not take a golden seed? Because at the end of the game, we're going to have the maximum number of flask charges with 12 seeds to spare anyway, so that's kind of a useless pick. Why not take a stone sword key? Same rationale. At the end of the game, having unlocked every single imp statue, we will have 34 extra stone sword keys, and so we might as well get some extra stats at the beginning. But I'll read these flavors right quick. I kind of forgot to do that. So enter name, select body type. Buff or body type has no bearing on ability. Age only affects appearance, has no bearing on ability. Okay, so here's the flavors on these. Vagabond, a knight exiled from their homeland to wander, solid armor-clad origin. A warrior is a nomad warrior who fights wielding 2 blades at once, an origin of exceptional technique. A hero, stalwart hero at home with a battle axe, descended from a Badlands chieftain. Bandit, a dangerous bandit who strikes for weak points, excels at ranged combat with bows. Astrologer, a scholar who reads fate in the stars, heir to the school of glintstone sorcery. Prophet, a seer ostracized for inauspicious prophecies, well-versed in healing incantations. Prisoner, a prisoner bound in an iron mask, studied in glintstone sorcery, having lived among the elite prior to sentencing. Confessor, a church spy adept at covert operations, equally adept with the sword as they are with their incantations. Wretch, a poor, purposeless sod, naked as the day they were born. A nice club is all they have. And like I said, we're going with Samurai, a capable fighter from the distant land of reeds, handy with katana and longbows. So keepsake. No keepsake, the past has been well and truly left behind. Crimson Amber Medallion. A medallion inlaid with Crimson Amber increases maximum HP. Lands Between rune. The gold of grace shining in the eyes of the people of the Lands Between, used to gain many runes. Golden Seed. A golden seed washed ashore from the Lands Between, said to enhance Sacred Flask. Fanged Imp Ashes. The ashes of small diminutive golems. Ashes are said to hold spirits within. Cracked Pot. 3 strange cracked pots that somehow mend themselves, a container for certain thrown items. Stone Sword Key. 2 stone keys shaped like swords, breaks the seal on imp statues but can only be used once. Bewitching Branch. 5 sacred branches charged with beguiling power, said to originate from the demigod Mikola. Boiled Prawn. 5 pieces of boiled prawn, boosts physical damage negation. And Shubriri's Woe. The crazed likeness of a noble whose eyes have been gouged out attracts enemies' aggression. So we're going to go with Lands Between rune. Everything else we will find plenty of as we're playing anyway. And to be fair, we'll find plenty of runes too, but they're the most useful early boost. with everything I said in mind. So, choose base template. Oh, that's interesting. Warrior. Oh, I guess it is a gender. Alright, well, I'm kind of playing as myself, so I'll be a dude after all. Choose base template, warrior. The most common face among the tarnished. After all, they were all warriors once. Truth seeker. The face of an austere pilgrim. There are many roads to truth. Aristocrat. A regal face found among those who claim noble blood in the lands between. Loner. Face found among a proud and seclusive tribe of folk well versed in ancient legends and heresies alike. Northerner. A face found among the hardy people of the unforgiving north. Some say they're descended from giants. Seafarer. The face of one who wanders the seas in search of their home in the lands between. Reedlander. A face from the faraway, isolated land of reeds, where blood is a familiar sight. Draconian. The stony face of the people of the ancient dragons, among whom life is typically short. Nightfolk. The features of those known as Nightfolk. Few in number, they were said to bleed silver long ago. Newman. The face of the Newman, supposed descendants of denizens of another world, long-lived but seldom born. I kind of like the Reedlander. I kind of like the Seafarer. But I think I'll probably just go with the Warrior. Lone Wonder, welcome back. Thank you for the resub. I really appreciate it, my friend. 67 months. It's lovely to see you, too. Always a pleasure, my friend. How have you been? Detailed appearance. I kind of resent the implication that I'm gonna get soft as I age. I train harder now than I did when I was young, but... Nah. This'll take too long if I mess around with it, so let's just start there and get her going. Starting game with this character. You know, I've been alright. My personal life's going well, even though I think the world is going to shit. So, what are you gonna do, right?
The fallen leaves tell a story. The great Elden Ring was shattered.
It's actually...
Home. Across the fog. The lands between.
This is actually the first time I've watched the intro since I played the game. It's really interesting to watch it now, kind of knowing all the stories and what's going on.
Now, Queen Marika the Eternal is nowhere to be found. And in the night of the Black Knives, Godwyn the Golden was first to perish. Soon, Marika's offspring, demigods all, claimed the shards of the Elden Ring.
You know, Karis, that might be a more appropriate read than you think.
The mad taint of their newfound strength triggered the shattering.
Hi, Apotham. How are you? It's good to see you.
War from which no lord arose.
I should...
A war leading to abandonment by the greater will. Oh, rise now, ye tarnished, ye dead who yet live. The call of long-lost grace speaks to us all.
Oraloo, chieftain of the Badlands. The ever-brilliant Gold Mask. Fear, the deathbed companion. The loathsome dung-eater. And Sir Gideon Ofnir, the all-knowing.
I should say the one thing I have not yet done on the PlayStation is kill Millennia. So if I do it on this playthrough, it'll be the first time it's happened.
And one other, whom grace would again bless.
I love this game. It's my favorite.
Tarnished of no renown.
I don't like the story as much as Dark Souls. I don't think the writing is as good, but the game itself, it's by far my favorite FromSoft game.
Lands between.
I'm sure I'm not the first to make this comparison, but it really is like Dark Souls
Before the Elden Ring.
and Breath of the Wild had a gloriously beautiful baby.
And become the Elden Lord.
It's so huge. And here we are. So you can see so let's go through everything I have. Oh man. Praise the Elden Ring. First off, good luck, and then praise the message. Just getting started, all the more good luck. Alright, so first let's see what I have. With the inventory menu, you can browse the items you're carrying, drop them on the ground, or throw them away. You can also use tools from the inventory menu. Alright. New inventory features. Oh yeah, because I did buy Shadow of the Erd Tree, and for PC, and I have not touched it before. It'll be a long time before we get to it, but new inventory features. New features can be enabled in the display tab within the system menu. Items obtained for the first time can be marked with exclamation point. I actually am going to do that. That way I'll know what lore I haven't read yet. A dedicated tab has been created to view the items obtained most recently. How handy. So we have Memory of Grace. Lose all runes. Return to last site of lost grace visited. So it's this game's iteration of the Dark Sign. Lands Between Rune, used to gain 3,000 runes. Oh, but I need to... No, there we go. The Memory of First Grace, which once guided Bygone Tarnished to the Lands Between. Lose all runes and return to last site of grace visited. It is merely a cycle. Stand before the Elden Ring, become the Elden Lord. Grace said to have once dwelled in the eyes of the inhabitants of the Lands Between, the lingering residue of gold, used to gain 3,000 runes. No grace resides in the eyes of the Tarnished. If it ever did, it is now lost. So I have no ashes, which are summons. Hi, Jimmy. I love a lot of things about this game. I love the level design, I love the world design, I love the fight mechanics, I love the bosses, I love the lore. I don't think it's quite as compelling as Dark Souls, but I still think it's really good, really well written. And I dislike... There are some areas that are... And I think it's kind of the point, so I'm not going to squawk about it too much, but like... There are some areas that are just really, really annoying to deal with. Crafting materials, I have none. Bolstering materials, none. Key items, none. Sorceries, none. Incantations, none. Ashes of War, none. Melee armaments, Uchigatana, the samurai's starting weapon. The cocaine bears. I actually don't mind the cocaine bears. I really hate the blood birds around Mogwin Palace. I fucking hate those things. And the giant shrimp, actually, the giant prawns. They bother the shit out of me. Maybe I'm just not good at fighting them, I don't know. A katana with a long, single-edged, curved blade, a unique weapon wielded by the samurai from the land of reeds. The blade, with its undulating design, boasts extraordinary sharpness, and its slash attacks cause blood loss. Skill Unsheathe. which is an amazing skill, by the way. Skill of Swordsman from the Land of Reeds. Sheath blade, holding it at the hip in a composed stance. Follow up with a normal or strong attack to perform a swift slash attack. And I'll be honest, you know something else I love about this game? I love the way the community came together to uniformly ridicule Elon Musk for how shitty his build was when he posted it on Twitter. That really made me happy. Hey, Nyron. I'm interested in your feelings, because I adore this game. I like the story and writing in Dark Souls better, but in terms of the game itself, this is by far my favorite FromSoft game. Apotham, the Souls games, they took me a while to really grok. You know, especially because I played Demon Souls, Dark Souls 2, and even after that first playthrough of Dark Souls 2, I was kind of like, I'm not sure I really get it. This is kind of a pain in the ass. This isn't that much fun. And I don't know, somewhere in my second playthrough of Dark Souls and kind of Elden Ring too, it just clicked, and all of a sudden, I guess I had enough of a feel for the games and kind of figured out what they expected of me and demanded of me, and I adore them. I can't wait to see what FromSoft does next. We also start with a longbow. Longbow made to fire arrows over great distances. Compared to a short bow, arrows fired reach further and deal more damage. To use a bow, arrows must also be equipped. Skill, mighty shot. Archery skill performed from an oblique stance. Ready the bow, then pull the bowstring to its limit to enhance the power of the shot, penetrating the enemy's guard. Well, I have open world fatigue in general, but I think FromSoft did a really great job building this world. And it's not, it's certainly not Assassin's Creed, where you're just endlessly chasing stupid objective markers that have no point. And I also like that they put in so many, classic style dungeons, like the heroes' graves and the catacombs and the castles and whatnot, that function more like classic Dark Souls areas interspersed throughout the world. I thought they did a really good job with the game design. There can be some overwhelm playing this because there's so many options. Arrow. Arrows used with small and long bows, unremarkable in any way, shape, or form. Fire arrow. Arrows with the tip set alight deals fire damage, so we got 20 standard, 10 fire to start. Red thorn round shield. A small wooden round shield. It is light and easy to handle, but cannot offer the damage negation of a metal shield. Its emblem is an ancient thorn design. Though it isn't much, it boosts fire damage negation. Skill, parry. Use the skill in time with a foe's melee attack to deflect it and break that foe's stance. This provides an opening to perform a critical hit. Land of Reed's Helm. I'm not sure about Avowed. I didn't pay any attention to it pre-release, so I don't really know anything about it. I know people seem to like it. And honestly, that's everything I know about Avowed at the moment. I'm not that plugged into the gaming world, not nearly as much as I used to be. I'm really, really watching for when the Talos Principle remake comes out. We will stream that day one. Beyond that, though, Land of Reeds Helm. Helm made from strips of iron fastened together, worn by warriors of the Land of Reeds. The Land of Reeds has long been locked in a miserable civil war, during which time it has remained alienated from the cultures of its neighbors. Little wonder that the entire nation has succumbed to blood-soaked madness, or so it is said. Land of Reeds Armor. Altered. Armor made from strips of iron fastened together, worn by warriors of the Land of Reeds. Same flavor text, I'm not going to reread it. Land of Reeds Gauntlets. Gauntlets wrapped in tough leather, worn by warriors of the Land of Reeds. And Land of Reeds Greaves. Greaves wrapped in tough leather, worn by warriors of the Land of Reeds. I might as well, just in case anything's slightly different. The Land of Reeds has long been locked in a miserable civil war, during which time it has remained alienated from the cultures of its neighbors. Little wonder that the entire nation has succumbed to blood-soaked madness, or so it is said. I have no talismans. About new inventory features. So this is info, so every time a tutorial tab pops up, you will be able to review it in this tab, which is nice. So we did already read that. So, equipment menu. With the equipment menu, you can equip armaments, arrows, bolts, armor, talismans, and items. You can equip up to 3 armaments each to your left and right hands. The actions each armament performs will vary based on which hand is wielding it. So I do want to keep my bow equipped. I just want it in slot 2 rather than slot 1. And arrows don't add to your equip load, so I might as well keep them both there. I don't want my rune hotkeyed. I'd hate to accidentally use it before I'm ready. With the status menu, you can check your level, attributes, base stats, and more. The information shown here also reflects changes to your attack, defense, and resistances bestowed by armaments and armor that you have equipped. So we start at level 9. I'm not going to mess with multiplayer, but I do, wherever they are, I want to turn on the new inventory options. Where are they? That is the question. Subtitles on, yes, 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 yes. Da, 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 da. Mark new items, show recent items tab. Okay, I do want to mark new items, and I actually want the recent items tab too. Those are useful. Okay, I think that's everything we need to... we really need in order to get started, so... We are online. I'm generally gonna read messages, so... Oh yeah, what gestures do I have? Bow, wave, jump for joy, point forwards, rallying cry, rest. Point forwards, point upwards, point downwards, wait, wave, beckon, warm welcome, and dejection. Alright. Though the path be broken and uncertain, claim your place as Elden Lord. We get the Tarnished's Wizened Finger. Well, what pray tell is that? Item for online play can also be used from the messages menu. Used to write messages. Your messages will be conveyed to other worlds, allowing other players to read them. A finger of corpse wax, so emaciated the bone is visible. It is a relic of those who came before, left to help those who would come after. Praise the Elden Ring. Alright. So, as is from soft tradition, there is a first boss that is designed to kill new players. If you're skilled enough, you can win in the first encounter. So we're at the Chapel of Anticipation, but it's not worth the effort. We actually get to come back and kill it anyway, later when we're stronger. So I'm just going to let it kill me. Behold, great tree. Indeed, there's the Erd Tree. The first 3/4-ish of the game are essentially revolve around journeying to the Erd Tree. Seek great tree. Are you ready? So to speak, time for Elden Ring. Good luck. Just getting started. Behold, are you ready? Ambush ahead. Still no tarnished. If only I had arms, or if only I had an armament. First off, death. First off, gorgeous view, and then time for death. Alright, so the Grafted Scion is the first boss. Big tree, much wow. So yeah, I'm just gonna let it kill me. Didn't even do the you died. That's how you know you're supposed to die. Big tree, much wow.
Don't worry, Torrent. Fortune is on his side. We found him here, after all. One of his kind is sure to seek the Elden Ring. Even if it does violate the Golden Order.
I don't know how to set up a death counter, and I'd rather play than take the time right now to figure it out. But if we want to kind of manually track it for this stream, and then I can figure out how to build it before the next one, I think that'd be good. Stranded Graveyard. And we get the Flask of Crimson Tears and the Flask of Cerulean Tears. A sacred flask modeled after a golden holy chalice that was once graced by a tear of blessing. Filled with crimson tears, this flask restores HP with use. Rest at a site of grace to replenish. The one washed up on the gravesite was sure to die until this flask offered its gift of rejuvenation to seek the Elden Ring. Flask of Cerulean Tears. A sacred flask modeled after a golden holy chalice that was once graced by a tear of blessing. Filled with cerulean tears, this flask restores FP with use, rest at a site of grace to replenish. The one washed up on the gravesite was sure to die until this flask offered its gift of rejuvenation to seek the Elden Ring. Okay, so obviously we want those hotkeyed. And fortunately, they start out automatically hotkeyed. That's perfect. Why is it always circling around? The Cave of Knowledge lies below. Jump down the hole ahead and you will find the Cave of Knowledge. There you can learn more about game controls and basic actions, as well as other tips that may be helpful during your adventures in the lands between. Suffering, oh suffering, therefore tears, oh tears. Let's explore the room we're in before we take the... Behold, tree! Could this be a Erd tree? It is in fact an Erd tree sapling. Good fortune. Are you ready? Alright, so we'll do the Cave of Knowledge. Brave tarnished, take the plunge of learning and remembrance. I can recall the arts of war and your warrior's blood. I can keep track of it for now. It's 1, if we count that one. I'm even though there wasn't a you died screen, I'm still gonna count it as a death. So 1 death so far. So down we go. I did it, but didn't expect life. Offer healing. Okay, there's so many messages, I'm kind of going to start skipping them. Sites of Grace. Resting at a site of grace will restore your HP, FP, and cleanse any status ailments. It will also refill your sacred flasks. However, most of the enemies you've defeated will be revived. You can find sites of grace by going where light converges. These explanations are required in the form of info items and can be accessed from the inventory at any time. Here's our first site of grace. The Cave of Knowledge. So right now we can pass time, we can allocate flask charges. With this menu, you can allocate the number of uses in each of your flasks. You have a set total of maximum flask uses. Right now it's 4. At the end of the game, it's 14. You can decide how many of those uses are for the HP replenishing Flask of Crimson Tears and how many are for the FP replenishing Flask of Cerulean Tears. So 3 and 1 is... that default is fine right now. It's really the only thing we can do at the moment. Alright, so we're gonna do the tutorial. Guarding. Use an armament in your left hand or both hands to guard against incoming attacks. Guarding is especially effective when done with a shield. Guarding consumes stamina. If your stamina runs out, your stance will be broken. Dodging. You can avoid enemy attacks with a dodge roll or backstep. Both of these actions consume stamina. Finally, a dedicated jump button. You can see an archer up there. Materials. In every corner of the lands between, you will find fruits and flowers, mushrooms and butterflies, and various other useful materials. These materials can be used for item crafting. So I just got a rawa fruit. Those are just the infos. Berry-like red fruits that grow in shrubs, material used for crafting items. Easily found everywhere in the lands between, it has a wide variety of uses. Yeah, I still don't have any recipes. That's alright. Wielding armaments. Each hand can be equipped with up to 3 armaments, allowing you to toggle between them. Armaments can also be two-handed, making attacks more difficult to repel with shields and boosting effective strength by 50%. Come on now. There we go. So that was a stance break, which is why I was able to get that critical hit from the front. You do get iframes while you're performing a critical hit, which is good. Bows. Equip a bow to fire arrows. You can equip up to 2 types of arrows to choose from at once. While wielding a bow with 2 hands, hold left button for precision aiming. Use R to adjust your aim. That's the same guy who was harassing us earlier. Skills. Armaments have special abilities called skills. Skills are highly varied and range from powerful attacks to temporary effects. Using skills consumes FP. Crouching. Crouch to make it harder for enemies to discover you, especially effective in tall grass. Attacking an enemy that hasn't noticed you will cause more damage than usual. We'll sneak up on this guy. You can also actually hide in grass in this game. Right button near a back-turned enemy, critical hit, so there's where you learn about backstabs. We've already done several. Stance breaking. Some attacks may break an enemy's stance, giving you a chance to perform a critical hit. Charge attacks and jump attacks make it particularly easy to break an enemy's stance. Hold right trigger for a charge attack, right trigger while jumping, jump attack.